This is the review video for Math 111 M1 Spring 2026 exam question 2. So the question is find the vertical, oblique, and f of 0 for this f of x here, 7 minus 15x plus 6x squared over 6 plus 3x. Now, the way we find the part A, the vertical asymptote, is we set the denominator equal to 0. 6 plus 3x equals 0. And I'm going to subtract 3x from both sides. We get 6 equals minus 3x. And then we divide both sides by minus 3 to get minus 2 equals x. And then we check that the numerator at minus 2 is not 0, so we know whether it's a vertical asymptote or a whole. We do 7 minus 15 times minus 2 plus 6 times, and we got parenthesize, minus 2 squared. And hopefully we get 61, which is very much not 0. So our next step is part B, which is we want to find the vertical asymptote. So what we're going to do is do the polynomial division that we all learned about. And that means that we want to put these in order of power, in the order of leading terms. So we want 3x plus 6 instead of 6 plus 3x. And then we want to divide that by 6x squared. We want the x squared first, then the x term, minus 15x, and then the plus 7. And now I'll make a little division here. I'll be that way. Just have a lighter thickness. And let's do that. Boom. There we go. And what we're going to do is we start by figuring out what, let's go here. We start by figuring out what 6x squared. We want to cancel the 6x squared, so we take 6x squared and divide it by 3x. And that's going to give me 2x. So we multiply this guy by 2x to cancel that out. And I'm going to get 6x squared, which will cancel the 6x squared up there. And it's going to be plus 12x. Now, when we subtract that, okay, the 6x squared minus 6x squared goes to 0. And 15x minus negative 15x minus 12x gives us minus 27, not 26, 27x. And we bring them to plus 7. Okay, so what's going to happen here is now we're going to do oops, wrong thing. There it is. We'll do negative 27x divided by 3x. So what do we have to do? Multiply 3x by to get negative 27. Let me put that in parentheses so that comes out right. And now we're going to get that's equal to minus 9. So this is going to be, we'll start with 2x, and then we're going to do minus 9. And that's going to give me minus 9 times 3x is going to give me my minus 27x. And 6 times minus 9 is minus 54. We subtract minus 54, which means we add 54, and we get 7 plus 54 is 61, which will be the remainder. So I get this, and and then we plug it into our graphing calculator to check our work. Okay, so we want that to check that the vertical asymptote's at minus 2, and the slant asymptote is v2x minus 9. We put it into the graphing calculator, and we get this graph. Here you see the original numbers and 2x minus 9, and you see that this is very clearly the slant asymptote, and these each are by 5s when you go from 0 to 20. So this is basically at x equals minus 2 is the vertical asymptote. So you can see the two asymptotes on this graph. Now the last part is pretty straightforward, which is part C, which is what is f of 0. So let me remind myself. So we plug 0 into the numerator and denominator, and we get, oops, that's not what I want. Go here, back here. And we get 7 minus 15 times 0 plus 6 times 0 squared, both of which will be 0, divided by 6 plus 3 times 0, which, wait a sec, is going to come out to, okay, all those zeros and 0 squares will cancel out. And the whole thing is going to come out to 7 divided by 6. And that's the answer. You don't need to do any more. You don't need to make it decimal. That suffices. And so that is the answer to question 3. I believe that's question 3 on the exam 2.